All right. Tonight's live training is all about stress. 7 steps to stress less and lose fat. Because the reality is, if you're stressed out, if you're feeling like you just can't catch a break, you're not going to see successful fat loss results. That's just the way our body is wired, the way things work, because dieting, exercising, those are already stressors on the body. Add that to every other piece of stress in your life, and that's going to be a recipe for fat loss disaster. We want to calm and de-stress as much as possible when adding in exercise and dieting. So, what is stress? The body's normal reaction to any change that requires an adjustment or response. Stress can be physical, mental, or emotional, and it can be experienced from your environment, your body, and your thoughts. Stress is normal. And I think where people go wrong is they think that it's some abnormal thing. I'm so stressed, I'm so stressed, I'm so stressed. Yes, you are feeling this sense of stress right now, and that's probably telling you that you have too much stress, but just know that you will always be facing stress. That is just the way that the body works. Stress is a very normal thing. You wake up in the morning, the act of awakening is a stressful process. You open your eyes, your body is adjusting to being awake instead of asleep after a long period of time. So stress is very normal, and we need to get rid of this idea that something's wrong with us because we're stressed. Types of stress: eustress and de-stress. Eustress is positive stressors. Those are things that create stress in our body, but make us feel happy, make us feel good. You think of the high you feel after exercise. The endorphins pump through the system, and you feel good about it afterwards. Distress is the negative stress. That is the beat down on the body. That is feeling like you have too many tasks added to your plate at work. That is a workout that's too challenging, where you feel in the middle of it like you're going to be sick, you're not going to make it, like your muscles hurt and like they're going to rip and break into pieces. That stress is the stress that we want to get rid of. We want to stick primarily to eustress. And if I'm coaching my clients, we want to focus on making dieting and exercising as much of a eustress scenario as possible, which is kind of funny because we're back into the gym now and everyone's muscles are sore. That doesn't mean that you will never be sore. You know, some coaches will say that you should train in such an intelligent way, in such a well-programmed manner that you shouldn't feel sore. Well, because you're sore doesn't mean it's a negative stress. Soreness will take place. It means you got stronger. It means you challenged and overloaded your muscles. So distress is, to me as a coach, I look at it as the negative scenarios in your life of a traffic jam, which causes you to be late, a sick kid, which means you have to miss a day of work, forgetting your lunch and trying to scramble and piece something together in the office. Scenarios that I don't have control over because I can't necessarily help those in your day. Your nutrition, your fitness, those are things that can help move you to eustress and help you hopefully control a little bit better. What happens when we face stress? Well, stress is placed on the body. It signals the activation of the sympathetic nervous system and the deactivation of the parasympathetic nervous system. Then cortisol is released and stimulates a process known as gluconeogenesis. That takes place in the liver. So the body has ample energy to fight or respond to the stress. Bodily processes are altered to redirect resources and energy to the appropriate places. Examples include increasing the heartbeat and the secretion of epinephrine, norepinephrine, the inhibition of salivation and digestive function, and the relaxation of the airways. So lots of bodily processes happen and take place when we feel stressed, and it's not always emotional. It's actually the physiological functions that create the emotional feeling of stress. The tightness in the chest, the racing heart, the can't quite seem to focus your brain. Those are the physiological processes that translate and lead to some changes in hormones, some changes in your mental thought process. So We talked about the activation, deactivation of sympathetic and parasympathetic. Your parasympathetic system is your rest and digest. That's responsible for your recovery. That's responsible for digestion, the excretion of waste, making sure that blood gets adequately pumped without a lot of stress on your vessels. The sympathetic, on the other hand, fight or flight. That is exactly as it sounds. That activates when you are faced with a stressor and you have to decide, dates back a long time ago to our ancestry. Do I fight or do I run? That fight or flight activates those systems. It slows digestion. It dilates the pupils. It does a lot of things to prepare your body for combat or running. So that sympathetic, parasympathetic is where we want to balance things in order to maintain that good balance in our stress. How does stress influence fat loss? Well, fat loss in itself is a stressful process. Fat loss is stressful. You're dieting, you're taking away some of the calories you're taking in, you're adding exercise on your body. Both of those things are stressors. So fat loss is a stressful thing. When we stress the body, we need to recover so our body can adequately adapt. That adaptation is fat loss. That's why when and we've all done it before, you diet harder, you eat less, eat less, eat less. You work out harder, push, push, push in the gym, but your weight isn't going anywhere. What's happening? Well, you've completely skipped over that rest and digest, the parasympathetic, the recovery piece that is so critical. That's where the repair processes take place. Your body repairs tissues. It restores nutrients. That's how it adapts and recovers to get to that homeostasis to say, you know what? That little bit of weight I can live without. It's okay. I don't need to hold on to that. We need to recover when we're losing fat. And I completely understand that desire and that passion to just finally lose the weight is there, and it's telling you, that voice inside your head says, push more is better, harder, harder, harder. That's not the case. When your goal is fat loss, you need to tune that voice out, to challenge that voice, to hear it, but say, you know what? What does my body really need right now? I'm sore. I'm tired. I've had a long day at work. I'm hungry. Right now, I don't need to push harder. I need to feed my body. I need to get some recovery in. When fat loss becomes challenging, I touched on this desire to push harder, to eat less. That, on top of everything else you face in life, leads to chronic stress. You think about, I love when clients have quarters or year ends or even month ends sometimes can create some borderline symptoms of some major chronic stress issues. You're so dedicated and pushed to your limits at that end of the month, quarter, year, where you're working, and you never give your body a chance to recover. I think of some of my clients in finance, the accountants, tax season. One of my clients said that they were so lucky that tax season was so different this year. It felt better than ever because they were allowed to have the time to take a deep breath and say, okay, I've got this. To have the time to not completely throw away the workouts because you're working from 7 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. Chronic stress is a real thing for a lot of us. And it's not just people in finance, people with year end or month end or quarter ends. You think of doctors, nurses who work long shifts. You pick up another, you continue to pick up more and more shifts, work long hours in a caretaker position. That's tough. Chronic stress damages your central nervous system. And when that happens, it holds on to any and all resources it views as essential. The number one macronutrient it views as essential, fat. So you're trying to lose fat, but you're so stressed, your body's thinking, whoa, I need to prepare myself for battle, for combat, for survival. So I'm going to hold on to the thing that I need, and that's fat. Fat is number one. We need to allow that body to recover so that it can see that muscle is important, that water is important. And we can hold on to those things and convince the body that fat isn't as necessary as it seems, that we are well recovered enough to shed and shrink those fat cells so that we're better equipped to see results. What causes stress? This isn't even an all-encompassing list, but work. You think about bosses, coworkers, clients. Those things are stressful. Then you think about finances. You think about promotions, demotions. Holy, you think about being at home this time. Do I have a job? Do I not have a job? Do I have an income? Do I not have an income? Do I go to work? Do I not go to work? Work is stressful, regardless of what industry. Family. You could be married. You could be married with kids. You could be single. You could be dating. You could be divorced. Wherever you are at, you have family, and they're stressful in good and bad ways. But family creates stress, and it's balancing that. And you know the family members that just kind of cause your blood to boil more than others. You have those who make you feel great and you just want to spend more time with them. It's balancing that so that you don't completely hate spending time with that family member. You see them because you love them and you care about them. Otherwise, I would hope that if they're causing you that much stress, that maybe you remove them from your life in some way. Then you think about relationships. Well, you have relationships, you have spouses, you have partners, you have friends, you have relationships with coworkers, you have relationships with neighbors, you have relationships with, anyone around you. Maybe you go to the same coffee shop every day. You have a relationship with the barista there. You have relationships with so many people, and good, bad, ugly, they create stress as well. Then we have emotions. You have highs and lows of emotions all of the time. And your emotions can create stress. Think about it. When you're sad and you don't want to be sad anymore, you think about, what can I do to not make myself sad, not make myself sad? Well, before you know it, you're stressed about being sad. Then you have the highs and lows of, I'm super happy, I'm super sad. I'm up, I'm down, I'm up, I'm down. That balance and that juggling act of what are my emotions going to be today causes a lot of stress for people. Mentality piggybacks right off of that. There are people who are naturally more optimistic and naturally more pessimistic. Now, there are people at each end of the spectrum, but the majority of us fall in between, but have a tendency to tip to one side. And it comes in how you phrase things, how you see things. Glass half full, glass half empty. That mentality causes stress. If you are somebody who sees the glass as always half full, you're more likely to view some of these work challenges, family challenges, relationship challenges as a positive stressor, as a new challenge, as a way and an opportunity for you to grow. If you are a glass half empty person, the opposite. You view those as an attack to you. You view those as something that's just one more thing to knock you down. Now, I have friends on both ends, and I love them both. But it's important that you know where you fall. It's important that you understand where you sit on that spectrum so that you can best manage it, so that you can best handle and realize when you're facing stress, how you're going to view it and respond. Then we go to dieting. Dieting is a stress. Your body wants to do anything it can to stay at homeostasis, to stay where it's at. Your body doesn't like change. So when you diet and you cut calories, or maybe you're trying to gain weight, you're trying to bulk up, and you're trying to add calories, well, that's also stressful on the body. Your body looks at, I'm going to use fat loss as an example because I know the majority who are watching this, that's their goal. But you're looking for fat loss. Well, I just I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. Okay, well, your body's accustomed to eating a certain number of calories to maintain that weight. We need to figure out what that maintenance is, put you in a proper deficit so that you can appropriately diet without hurting your hormones, your digestive system, your mental health, and your results. Dieting is stressful. That's why I always say I recommend you do this with somebody. You help set up and create the plan with somebody. Get comfortable in every step of the process before you really tackle this on your own. Then there's training, which if you've done a workout before, you know that training is stressful. You know that cardio is stressful, that running, ball slams, jumping jacks, burpees, those are stressful. You know, if you're resistance training, that lifting, the heavier the weights, the more it stresses your muscle. The more reps you do, the more it stresses your muscle. Training is a stress. And it's something that, for whatever reason, we've taught ourselves that more is better. I go to the gym more. I work out more. That's going to get me better results. But when it's coming down to stress balance, it's really not. You need to plan in recovery days. Injuries, disease, illness, injuries, any of those fall into that category. That's a stressful thing. We're just kind of starting to return to normal in this coronavirus pandemic. How much stress did that create on everyone? You think about if you're a parent, you have kids and your kid is sick, that creates stress. Your back hurts, your neck hurts, your head hurts. You have pain that causes stress. Why am I in pain? Why does this happen to me? Then internally, your body's stressed trying to repair. Your body doesn't like pain. It wants to stop sending pain signals. So it looks for how to fix it. Sleep. The act of sleeping is actually probably the most, it should be, I guess I should say, least stressful process out there. Sleep is important, but the fact is that we don't get enough of it. And the reality is that when we don't get enough of it, we're sleep deprived. We're stressed. Our body wants rest. There are more stressors than this. There are more things that cause stress. I mentioned finances. I kind of lumped that into work, but there's so many different things and you can kind of divide them out, but it's important that you identify what causes you stress in your life. What is routinely a stressor? Okay, so now we know what the stressors are. How do we manage stress? Well, let's use this example, dieting and training. So we apply the stress. We start on a diet and we start exercising again. That's the stress. Well, then we go to the recovery. We rest. We eat high quality foods. We're eating enough high quality foods. Still in a deficit. You can eat enough food and be in a deficit to promote fat loss. And then parasympathetic protocols. We're going to get more into those later, but parasympathetic protocols. Then there's the adaptation. That's your results. That's when you step on the scale and you see that your weight is down. When you look in the mirror and you see that areas are tighter than before. You do body measurements and you've lost inches. You do a handheld body fat analysis and it shows that you have lost body fat. Speaking of sleep deprived in that last image there, but managing stress is so important. And that's exactly why I want you here tonight. I want to give you 7 steps to stress less, to not be so stressed in a day, to help you understand how to manage your stress so that you can actually see fat loss results, so that you can train and you can diet and you can be successful with it. And that you don't feel like you need to beat yourself harder in a diet and training to get results. So step number 1 is recognize the stress or stresses being created. Awareness is number 1. You can't fix what you don't know. You have to identify your stressors. Go back 2 slides to that list of 9 things that I listed. Point out everything about work that creates stress. Good, bad, and ugly. Everything about family, about relationships, about emotions, mentality, injuries, training, dieting. Identify every stressor that you're placing on your body. That list will be long, and that's okay. But we want to know every single one so we can be clear and understand exactly what we have to target and reduce as stressors. List everything out. I've had clients take out a giant piece of paper and just start writing. Go through your day, what causes you stress? I mean, from like the moment the alarm clock goes off, through getting ready, picking out something to wear, to flossing your teeth and again cutting your gums, to figuring out what to eat for breakfast, packing breakfast, getting your stuff ready to go out the door, driving to work. The driving process is stressful enough. Getting into the building, starting on time. List everything all the way until you go to bed. List everything. So that way you can be aware of it and we can start to correct it. Step number 2, pair a sympathetic to a parasympathetic activity. Have a 1-to-1 ratio of stress to recovery. Promotes adaptation. So we need to pair sympathetic to parasympathetic activities. Pair and pair. Sympathetic activities, those are your exercise. Those are a stressful work scenario. Those are fights with spouses. Those are things that like cause your heart rate to get up. You had to run to chase the dog. That's a sympathetic activity. We need to balance parasympathetic activities to that. I'm going to post up, or I'm going to send you a list of parasympathetic activities so that you can see that. And so you can understand what exactly might be a lesser stress activity. Because here's the thing, so many of us think that watching TV is de-stressing. And in a way it is. Like for me, I'm convinced that watching TV stresses me less. One, because I'm on the go, I'm on my feet, I'm moving all day. So to me, just the act of sitting, watching something is, to me, stress relief. However, I'm watching shows that stimulate me mentally, like a lot of crime shows. I love crime shows. Well, those aren't necessarily relaxing. I do a lot of and clench and my heart rate gets up. So it's really not as parasympathetic as I think, but I'm still watching them. So I'll send a list out to you guys following up this training series so you can see exactly what are some parasympathetic activities. What can we pair together to promote adaptation? Here's a list, but I'll send this out to you guys as well so you have it outside of this playback when you get it. But parasympathetic activities: walking, meditation, refeed days, breathing exercises, relaxing time with family or friends, massage, yoga or tai chi, time out in nature, prayer, reading, listening to music, journaling, enjoyable hobbies. Now, hobbies, be careful with hobbies because there are things like working out to me is a hobby, but that's stressful. So it needs to be an enjoyable, relaxing hobby. I like to read, so that would be considered a relaxing and enjoyable hobby. I like to walk the dog. Okay, find things that are de-stressing to you. And here's the thing that I say, if you really, let's say you just don't like yoga, you don't like reading, you don't like journaling. If there are things you don't like and you look on this list, well, Jordan said it's a parasympathetic activity and I need more of those in my life, then I should start that. If you don't like it now, you're not going to like it later. Maybe it's something you've never heard of or you've never tried, and that's a different aspect. But if you're like, gosh, I just cannot meditate, then don't force yourself to. Find a different parasympathetic activity that you can incorporate right now. Because you'll watch this. You'll be motivated. You'll be ready to start some of these parasympathetic activities. But then you're going to get stressed from something else, and you're not going to want to do that. Because you already don't like doing it. So you're going to tell yourself, well, that's stupid. I don't know why I'd ever pick that. I'm not doing that. I'm too stressed out. I don't have time to do that. And before you know it, you've completely given up on that. So pick something that you like. something that piques your interest from the moment you see it on the list. Again, I will send this out so you have it in a printed copy form as well. Step number 3, follow an individualized nutrition plan. There is nobody else like you, so why eat like there is? You try to eat like your friend does. Your friend did keto and it worked for her. Your friend ate 1,200 calories and it worked for her. There is nobody like you out there, so stop trying to eat like your friend who lost 30 pounds. Your friend who did this challenge, who tried this supplement. Find a plan that works for you. Because if you're 5'10", you're 220 pounds, you have weight to lose, and you immediately start at 1,100 calories because your friend lost weight at 1,200, so you better go to 1,100, your body's going to hate you. So find out what works for you. Work with a coach to find an individualized nutrition plan. Macronutrients are the key to recovery, and that's the basis of these nutrition plans. You may start at the basic of basic nutrition plans, eating more high quality foods at certain meals, adding more high quality foods, decreasing your low quality foods, but know that your coach is thinking about these macronutrients. They're thinking about protein because it rebuilds your muscles, your tissues, your system. Your coach is thinking about carbs for fueling the muscles and your nervous system. Fats for balancing hormones and the CNS function. Macronutrients are key to recovery. So many qualities that help restore your system. So many that your body needs in different proportions. That's why you need it to be individualized, so that you get exactly what you need. You need calories. You need them. Absolutely 100% need calories. So this eating at 1,000 calories or less, I see so many people who come to me and they eat less than 1,000 calories. And then I tell them how many calories they should be eating in a day, and they think they should be at 1,100 to 1,200. That's just, it's not realistic. For the majority of people, that is absolutely so far off. You need calories. Not eating is stressful. Think about how our ancestors lived. They would go through phases of having ample food to not. Think about seasons, right? Food's less available in the winter for them. They're hunter-gatherers, so they store foods, but things maybe aren't as available. Your body needs calories. Starvation mode is not good for it. Dieting with wine. If you want the basis of an individualized nutrition plan, how to work your way up into tracking macros, I put together a little over a year ago, Dieting with Wine, which is a nutrition hierarchy, kind of starts you at the very basis. If you want a copy of that, when we're done with this, you watch this playback, you hear this, I want you to shoot me an email and I'll email it to you right away. It's a little bit, it still says Move to Perform, which was my old company, but it's a great resource to have. If you're looking to just get an idea of where do I even start with nutrition, this is a great spot. I'll also say, if you're watching this right now, you guys, I'm running this 5-day free nutrition challenge, Dieting Done For You. The information is going to stay there for at least 2 weeks. So if you missed it, it started this past Monday, closes tomorrow. If you want to get into the challenge, just get the information and start picking it apart so you can understand nutrition a little bit better. So that's step number 3. Step number 4, balance your training and use recovery days. Follow a 50-50 or 70-30 training plan. 50-50 means you're doing 50% of the days you're training, 50% of the days you're using recovery days. Maybe they're active recovery days. 70% training, 30% recovery. It really depends on where you're at. Now, here's what I'd say. If you're going 50-50, I, as your coach, would have you going a little bit more intensely on your training days. So let's say you go on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You're going to push a little bit harder than somebody who's coming, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe a Saturday every now and then. We're going to just, they're getting more total volume. They're getting more total, I guess I shouldn't say volume because we're going to push more intensely, which means you're going to get more equal volume. But they train more often. So we need to allow their body a little bit more recovery, give them a little bit less work on those days. So 50-50 training. Okay. Full recovery days. Those are days that you completely take off, and those are necessary. You need to take days where you don't do any exercise. You just do the regular activities around the house. Then you have active recovery days. Those are days where you maybe follow a stretching protocol, maybe a muscular activation protocol. Maybe you just go for an extended walk or a bike ride. You plan a bike ride or a kayak canoe with friends, a hike. Those would be active recovery days. Days where you've planned some activity in, where you're going to be moving your body extensively. And it's just not dedicated workout in the gym form. Remember that more is not better. Everyone thinks that they need to push harder and do more in the gym. Everyone looks at me and my training as being this intense. Well, Jordan does 6 days a week in the gym, so I should. Well, you guys, I also work 6 days in a gym. But if you looked at my entire program, I have a heavy squat day on Monday. I have a light bench day on Tuesday. I have a light squat day on Wednesday. I have a heavy bench day on Thursday. And I have a moderate squat and deadlift day on Friday. Saturday is active recovery. It's muscular activation. It's stretching and recovery, mobility work. Sunday, off. I'll probably go for a walk. I got a little puppy. I have to go for a walk. But Sunday, there's no training. Maybe stretching if I feel very tight. But remember, I'm training for a different goal. And that my training is specifically designed to accommodate this. So don't compare what other people are doing. Don't look at your friend who goes to their gym 7 days a week and beats the absolute piss out of themselves. That's not normal, and they're probably going to end up injured. Work with a coach. Identify your training protocol. Identify when your recovery days are, and then stick to them. I should have put a bullet point in there on this, but you guys, let's say you eat a whole boatload of pizza on Friday. You have pizza, ice cream, and wine. You really blew the barrel. You wake up and Saturday was supposed to be your day off, but you ate so crappy that you're going to get up, you're going to beat the crap out of yourself in a workup to make up for it. That's the biggest mistake that I see. You are trying to repent for your sins in the gym, in training, because your diet fell apart. The two aren't the same. Diet, training, two very different things. You can't make up for it there. They work together, but they are not the same. Stick to your recovery days, full recovery and active recovery days. Be aware of that more is not better. Number 5, remove environmental stressors. Your environment is a huge factor. Remove toxins. Okay, now that can be both in human form and in your utensil, in your supply form. So you can say remove toxins of the people in your life, the toxic people. You know, the people that just drag and suck your energy because they're energy vampires. Remove them. Or if you can't completely remove them, limit your time with them. Try to cut back on that so that you aren't consistently dragged and bogged down by them. You think about toxins in the items we use to store food. Think about all of the plastic. You think about the cleaning supplies. You think about the waste products, in your cars, in your homes, the lights that you use. Think about those toxins on both ends. We want to stay as toxin-free as possible. You're going to get them in. That's Earth. That's the way that we are. I've not met a single person who's completely toxin-free. but it's a work in progress. I bet there are one or two things that you can diminish on your toxin list. Second, get outside. We were born to be outside more. I don't care if it's cold, it's raining, it's snowing, it's sunny, it's windy. Get outside. Your body recovers from stress. Vitamin D, sunlight, the air, the fresh air. It is great for helping your body de-stress. So get outside. No is a word is the last one. How does that relate to environmental stressors? Well, you say yes to a lot of things that get you into environments that are stressful. Say no. If you are trying to really diet and master this and crank down on your diet for a couple of weeks because you're so close to your goal, or you're in the beginning and you want to solidify these good habits, but you're 8 days in and your buddy asks you to go out for happy hour. Your girlfriends want to have wine and movie night. Well, I really don't want to do that because I don't want to sabotage my results. No is a word. And you can interpret that in one of two ways. No, I'm going to go and not have any alcohol, and I'm going to tell my friends or whoever I'm with that. Or no, I'm not going at all. No is a word. For me, the biggest issue when it comes to saying no is not saying yes to everything I'm asked to do. I say yes to everything. No is a word. I'm learning and I continue to get better. So patting myself on the back here that I continue to say no to things that I don't actually have time for. I'm getting better at looking at my schedule. And I think a lot of us can do that. Look at your schedule and actually assess, do I actually have time or energy to dedicate to this right now? And I fully understand honoring commitments. But if it's something you're not quite committed to yet, you have the opportunity to bow out because you just don't have time. You don't have the resources. You don't have the energy. It is okay to say no. Number 6, be proactive in your planning. The no plan is not a plan. I'm tired of I don't need to prepare my meals. I don't need to plan my diet ahead. I can make all my meals at home right now. Great. So can everyone else. But you know what? You still need to have a plan for nutrition. You need to have a plan for training. You need to have a plan for recovery days. You need to have a plan for when you're going to work, when you're taking care of kids, when you're spending time with family. You need to plan parasympathetic activities because we're so short on them right now that we have to purposefully dedicate time to make sure that they get included. Time block out your day. Guys, my calendar looks a little scary, a little creepy. I plan out my entire day from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, because time blocks help to alleviate stress. It helps me to be proactive. One, it helps me, back to that no is a word, it helps me to look at my calendar. I'm asked to do something at this time, or I'm asked to do something in the coming days. I can look at my schedule and see that my time is full, or, oh, I do have that empty time. Time blocks. Get specific. They don't need to be set every 15 minutes, every hour. I'll set some in 90 minutes. I'll set some at 3-hour blocks, 1 hour. But dedicate enough time. The biggest mistake that I made when I started implementing time blocks into my calendars is I forgot commute time. So I forgot that I have a 15-ish minute commute to work. 15 minutes home, that's 30 minutes. So I'd plan to start doing something 15 minutes earlier than what I should. And I would wonder, why am I not getting these things done? How am I not having enough time? This is supposed to make my day easier. And I realized I'm not planning in the drive time. So use time blocks. Then being proactive in planning diet breaks, refeeds, and vacations. So diet breaks, that means planning, when do you just need to take a break? And I'm not saying you just wake up on Saturday morning yep, I had a big long week. I'm going to take a break from my diet this weekend. No, that's not it. Diet breaks are planned between you and a coach. Looking at your biofeedback, how you feel, what your stress levels look like, how your energy levels are, your motivation status. And they're specifically planned in a program. Refeeds. Those are days of higher caloric intake to bring your carbohydrate, your glucose levels back up, which can dramatically help your stress levels. And vacations. I might use with my clients, I tie diet breaks and vacations together. Because do you really want to go on vacation and diet? Probably not. Diet break doesn't mean complete break either. It doesn't mean you all of a sudden forget what a chicken breast looks like. It just means that we're going to go a little bit lax for the next week. We're going to let the biofeedback, we're going to let your body normalize again. And then we'll take you back into that. Or we'll let you go through vacation and then come back. Be proactive in planning deloads, weeks of lighter training, active recovery days, and travel. I love when clients all of a sudden email me and it's like, oh, I'm going to be out of town for the next 10 days. Can you write me some at-home or hotel workout programs? Plan for your vacations. If you work with me, I want to know. I want to know when you're going on vacation. I don't care if it's 6 months from now. I want to know. I want to be aware of it, of exactly when you're going so that we can plan for it. We can plan. Are you going to take that time off completely? Are you going to maybe get in, is your goal going to be to get in 10,000 steps? Is your goal to stretch, do some core, get a few workouts in? What is it? But plan for travel. Leave your body with no uncertainty as to what it is doing next. Your body hates uncertainty. It likes to know what's coming. It doesn't like to rush the processes that go on within it. It can, but it doesn't like to. We want to know exactly what is coming so that we can have the resources ready, because that helps the body stay at homeostasis, which is what I said is so important for the body. It loves to live there. And the more dramatically and quicker you move away from homeostasis, the harder it is for your body to adjust to that as a new set point. So gradually work into it. Plan it. Know when it's coming, when you're changing and moving away from that homeostasis so that you can be proactive and adjust your plan. Number 7, be present. Create a morning routine. My morning routine looks the same. I wake up, go to the bathroom, shower, get ready, come out. My sweet little girl is waiting for me right outside the door. We go out, we go potty, we come back in. I have a greens drink. I take a probiotic in the morning. We go over, we sit on the couch. I practice Spanish, something outside of my normal realm, outside of training, nutrition, anything like that, but still something that stimulates my brain to get me going in the morning. I journal. Every now and then I'll stretch. It's not very consistent in my morning routine. I pack my food. We head out the door. We go to the gym. That's my morning routine. Create something that's simple. Start by implementing one thing. What's one thing that you can consistently do every morning? Journal. Take 10 deep breaths. Take, a short walk around your house, around your block. Drink a greens drink. Journal. Listen to a song that just calms you, or maybe it pumps you up for the day. That'll help you stay present and get your mindset ready for the day. Because it's so easy to just wake up and go, 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 go. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to get out the door. That morning routine helps to breathe and calm the system. A deep breath before each new activity. This is one thing I'm trying to implement into my daily life. Before everything that I do, try to stop and take a deep breath so that I'm not rushing from one thing to the next. I'll be working on my laptop. I'll finish up writing a blog. I'll go to respond to some emails. Stop, take a deep breath. It helps to reset your system, get some fresh oxygen, some clean blood pumping through the system, and helps you to be present for that next task. Put the phone down. If you're locked in your phone, you're missing things around you. You're not in the present moment. You're living in this social media, this angry, frustrated reality. Put the phone down and be present. Love where you're at. Yes, we have phones. I sit on my phone. I work on my phone. I work on my computer. But have times where it's no phone time, no phone zone, no phone time. Set strict work hours. Some of you have the luxury of having this 9 to 5, this 8 to 4. Your schedule is set, and that's wonderful. But how often do you get caught taking work home with you? Thinking about what happened during the day, thinking about what you need to get done tomorrow. Then there are others of us who we live a crazy life where we do this now, we have an hour, my day, I work 5 to 10 a.m. Then I'm off, but still working, getting some administrative tasks done. Then I work 4 to 7:30. That's like a crazy day. And then now I'm coming home and I'm doing these live trainings. So my workday is different, but set strict work hours, hours where you're done with work at this time at night, where you wake up in the morning and you start work at this time. You take this time off so you can enjoy lunch, so you can do XYZ, but have strict work hours. And then track biofeedback daily. Biofeedback, those are the messages that your body sends to you about energy levels, hunger levels, motivation, fatigue, soreness. So many different metrics to be tracked for biofeedback, and I make that unique to every client that works with me. But biofeedback is a great tool to help you stay present and really realize, what is my body actually feeling? Because we move from one task to the next, one day to the next, one week to the next. And we don't even realize we're so tired. Our bodies are so sore and stiff. We're hungry all the time. If you track your biofeedback daily, you're aware of that and you can correct the problem before it comes. I'm exhausted. Oh, I'm starving. Oh, my muscles hurt so bad. I can't even do anything but lie on the couch. Be present. Use these tools to stay present. Top stressors to remove: training and nutrition. Let an expert do that. You don't let a mechanic handle your finances. If you work in finances and you're feeling ill, you have an ache or a pain, you're not going to diagnose that or fix it. You can look on WebMD, but it's wrong. You go to a doctor. You see a medical professional. Remove that stress and stop trying to diagnose and plan and determine what's your prescription from this. Let somebody else do it. Remove the negative groups, the people, the social events, the media. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, internet, news, they're toxic. Groups of people, we know the groups of people that just weigh you down. People, whether it be coworkers, friends, unfortunately family members, they weigh you down. Social events, you go to that one thing where you're dreading going, but you go anyway, and it's just a negative encounter. It's a negative event. Remove those things, or do your best to spend as little time there as possible. Inadequate sleep. You need 49 hours of sleep in a week, 7 hours a night. And truthfully, what a lot of the research is showing is that if you get 6 one night, you get 8 the next, that's okay. You can kind of bank hours. Now, I'm not saying pull an all-nighter and sleep 16 hours. No, that's not what I'm doing. Okay? I'm saying that you don't need to get exactly 7 hours on the minute every single day, but you need 49 hours in a week. Inadequate sleep is so stressful. Your gut doesn't get a chance to clear out. Your muscles don't get a chance to repair and recover. Your brain doesn't get a chance to kind of calm from the day. Get enough sleep. In summary, high stress equals no fat loss. It really is that simple. And everyone thinks that I need to do more. Stress less, get fat loss results. It is that simple. Now, you need to stress the system. You can't just not diet. You can't just not train and expect to see fat loss results. But too high of stress, and you're not going to see anything. I know where I am personally right now. My life is stressful. We reopened. We had all of these programs set to run and to take place when we got the okay to open back up. We had people already signed up, so we're not going to bail on them. We make changes, but they're still running. I started softball lessons again. We have lots of controversy in softball. There's just a lot that's going on in my life. And I know that right now, I need to do the best that I can with my training and nutrition. Everyone's working their way back into the gym. My workouts aren't as intense. You add the other stress of I'm still coming back from a pretty big concussion, from a shoulder injury. So I need to be careful and monitor the stress on my system. I'm accepting that, like, right now, I have a little bit left to go to get to the lower weight class for powerlifting. Not a whole lot. And I'm kind of just stuck at a point. And I'm doing the right things. I'm eating the right foods. But I'm so stressed during the day that I'm okay. I'm okay staying right here because I know that once this stress calms down, it's going to pop right in and I'm going to be fine. But remember that for you. If you're super high stress, don't stop doing the things that promote fat loss, that promote stress relief. The gym is exercising does relieve stress for a lot of us, but it is a stress on your body. It's a relief of stress mentally, but not a relief of stress physically. Don't stop doing those things. Just monitor them. Be aware of them. Because too high of stress without even recognizing it is going to not only stop your fat loss results, but it's going to hurt your overall and your long-term health. So that is the live training series, 7 steps to stress less and to lose fat. This will be emailed out to you, or you're watching it now, so you'll get it emailed to you. You've already had it emailed to you. I will be including with that a parasympathetic, sympathetic comparison sheet so you can see and identify different ideas for parasympathetic and sympathetic activities. And what I want to do with that is I want to know what questions you have. I want to hear from you. I don't want to just make these and never hear from you again. I'm genuinely wanting to answer questions to help you to apply these tactics. That's the entire goal of these trainings. So reach out, respond to the emails, ask questions. If you're local, come try out a workout with me. I'd love to talk more about it with you. If you're not local or you just don't want to come try a workout, let's talk. My contact information is in that email. Call me, email me. I want to assist you in stressing less because I'm queen of stressing out and adding too much to my plate, creating too much stress, being strung out, stressed out. That I don't want other people to feel like that. And I want people to see their fat loss results and feel great about it, not feel too stressed out in worrying about what's next in their day, what's next in their week.